Good morning from Monopoly City. Day has broken over the boardwalk as we get ready to tip off the 2022 MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Hercules Tires. On the women's side of the ledger, the Iona Gales taking on the Ryder Bronx in an 8-9 matchup. We're here at the Jersey Shore inside historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. Jeff Brault alongside Diane Nolan. We'll have Phyllis Mangina with our interviews at the half as well. Diane, yeah, it's early, but it's playoff basketball. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Absolutely. Coffee, Wawa Coffee, and Boardwalk Hall. What could be better?
And this is March. Nothing better than a look at a clean bracket. Right now, everything is perfect and pristine. What carnage will ensue?
Well, absolutely. And this is the third season. Remember, everyone has their non-conference, their conference, and tournament time. It's here.
The Iona Gales come in 10-15, 8-12 in the MAAC. The Ryder Bronx 9-20, 7-13. An interesting matchup of styles, Diane. These are two teams that love to run the Princeton offense. Very similar offensively.
And who will be able to disrupt it the most? Absolutely. They all like to dribble weave, and we're going to see a lot of that today. But who's going to be able to stop it?
Ryder Bronx led by third-teamer Lenasia Evans, 14 points a game for the senior from Conway, South Carolina. Iona's leader is Juana Camilion, a 5'10 junior from Spain and one of the best on-ball defenders in the league.
She certainly is. She is the one who will disrupt it. But look for her to get her offense going today as well.
So the Gales are in white, trimmed in maroon and gold. The Ryder Bronx wearing their cranberry and cream. It was a year ago that Ryder, as a 7 seed, made some noise in this tournament, winning in the opening round, knocking off second-seeded Quinnipiac in the quarterfinals. They're hoping for a similar run under 15th-year head coach Lynn Milligan here this season. We are underway in the playoffs. The MAAC's march to madness begins in Atlantic City. Iona with the first possession as they try to set up Ketsia Athias. Athias against Eckerstedt in the post, Diane, is a matchup to watch all morning long.
It certainly is. And you know the Iona Gales are going to go inside to her often. She's healthy. She's back in the post doing her work.
Easy bucket for Athias, and now Ryder setting up on their first offensive possession. Michaela Firebaugh, a dead-eye three-point shooter. Here's Eckerstedt for three. Nothing but net for Anna Eckerstedt, the junior from Sweden. 31% from outside the arc. You have to respect her on the perimeter.
You absolutely do. You look at her body size and you say, no way. However, she's a threat with the long ball.
Athias looking for the cutting Veseldinos. Here's Maria Fennis. Now Juana Camilion answers with the three.
Well, you want your big players to be big on the big stage, and she certainly is.
I tell you, if you thought these teams are going to be a little peaked here at 9:30, that is not the start through 1 minute of basketball. Jessica Schiffer finds Firebaugh curling up from the corner. Quick hands by Veseldinos, and Iona's got the steal. Gales force 18 turnovers a contest.
Well, they rely on their defensive pressure. I mean, that starts their offensive game. So you're going to look for them to step in passing lanes, grab the ball, and push it down the floor.
Iona, a team that hangs their hat on defense. They want to take charges, very disciplined, be gap sound. Fennis feeds Athias on the block. Goes to the right-hand hook, Toussaint for the rebound.
And as promised, here we are with the Princeton offense. Who's coming off clean of the screens?
Schiffer, catch and release. Nothing but nylon for the junior from Germany, the fourth best three-point shooter in the MAAC by percentage. Showing you why.
And she doesn't need a lot of separation. A catch and shoot very quickly.
Ryder by one. 6-5 Ryder after 2 minutes of basketball. These teams shooting the lights out here in Atlantic City. Athias doubled, and it leads to the turnover. Lenasia Evans lost it in transition, but it stays with Ryder. Schiffer stays hot. Back-to-back threes for Jessica Schiffer.
You better close out on that young lady. She can really knock them down from three.
Little soft press for Lynn Milligan, trying to disrupt Camilion into the offense. Camilion with a left post take. Veseldinos for Camilion on the block. Now Veseldinos crashes. Tough shot. Another offensive rebound for Iona. Quick release three. Toussaint with the long rebound. Iona on the offensive glass, Diane, is something to watch this morning. They are relentless on the boards.
They certainly are, and they need those extra possessions.
Offensive rebounds into kick-out threes, something that Lynn Milligan wants to avoid. Veseldinos with a quick release. We've already seen Juana Camilion can make a three. There's a three-point shooter. Fireball on a take to the goal. When she can score at all three levels, Ryder's extremely difficult to guard.
Absolutely, and I like the little spin move around the screen.
Ryder by 6 in the early going. They can't miss. A perfect 4 of 4 from the field. Athias slips behind the defense. There's the kick to the corner. Now Camilion, great spot for Athias for the easy layup.
Good spacing by the Gales. They're finding each other very quickly.
That ends the 8-0 run. 11-7 Ryder over Iona here in a fast-paced opening quarter. Lynn Milligan said the first 5 minutes of this game would be telling, and they certainly have been. Another take inside for Fireball. It's poked away by Juana Camilion. And here come the Gales. Thenis with a skip pass for Moy. Triple try. No, didn't get the roll. Long rebound for Fireball.
And you see Iona respects transition offense of the Ryder Bronx. They really got back on defense.
Lynn Milligan not shy about turning up the tempo. I think Ryder would settle for a more grinded out style in the half court. So far, Ryder's been able to dictate pace. There's Fireball from the elbow. Last year's MAAC co-rookie of the year, Diane, off to a great start.
They're on fire. I mean, 100%. How about that for 9:30 in the morning?
Diane, I'm going to make a bold statement. If Ryder doesn't miss a shot in this tournament, they're going to win the whole thing.
What do you think?
Veseldinos on the take. Navigates her way to the cup, but left it short.
And defensive rebounding is something that I know Lynn Milligan has talked with her team about. She wanted to see that improve as the season wore on. It did. Gives them more possessions.
Schiffer's already canned a couple of threes. Eckerstedt and Camilion on the weak side. She'll handle the basketball all the way into the lane. Slipped by Eckerstedt, who tied up the ball using those long arms, Diane. They call her the claw for a reason. And Anna Eckerstedt tying up the basketball to get possession back for her team. Fast and furious action in the opening 5.5 minutes. 4:34 to go in the first. Ryder leads Iona 13-7 here in Atlantic City.
If our turkey had a resume, it would say it's 99% fat-free, filler-free, and raised without antibiotics. But our turkey already has its dream job at Jersey Mike's. Premium meat makes a sub above.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain. And we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Book your New Jersey summer getaway now. Go for those sunshine vibes and sand buckets of beach and boardwalk fun. Celebrate life's brightest moments. Then linger a while in your urban oasis, forest retreat, or oceanside bliss. Boost your mood in New Jersey's feel-great destinations. Create your escape at visitnj.org/booknow.
Alone, chicken, onions, peppers, and cheese have potential. Together, they have a purpose. a destiny, and a name. Because grilled to order makes a sub above.
The Rider Bronx burning the nets on the boardwalk. 13-7, 4:34 to go in the opening quarter. Rider 5 of 6 from the floor, 3 of 4 from downtown. Di, if they keep shooting like this, they'll see Fairfield tomorrow as we have a look at our championship bracket.
Absolutely, and we know it comes down to making shots. And when you can do that right out of the gate, you're setting the tone for the game.
Right, it's so easy to overcomplicate basketball, right, with strategy and matchups and scheme, and sometimes it just comes down to, does the ball go through the hoop?
I mean, as you look down at the matchups, some exciting basketball all tournament long.
Amanda Mobley in to run the point for Rider, 5'7" senior from Coopersburg, Pennsylvania. Mobley, someone who has effectively run the Bronx offense for years. Schiffer from the corner, another three, her third of the quarter.
Right on cue.
Jessica Schiffer has made 3 or more threes in now each of Rider's last 6 games. That is peaking at the right time.
It certainly is, and they use her well. She's going to get a lot of screens. She's going to come off tight, doesn't need a lot of room to score.
Schiffer, a transfer from Buffalo, was really one-dimensional with the Bulls, only a three-point shooter. Lynn Milligan's done a good job getting her to score in multiple ways. Another miss in close for Iona, and they've gone cold. Over 2 minutes since they've scored, just one of their last 9. They will have a fresh 20 here. Chameleon rejects the Athea screen and gets to the cup.
And Athea's coming up high attracts so many defenders. It gives a lane to the basket. Chameleon took advantage.
Yeah, Athea makes so much happen for Iona, even when she doesn't touch the ball. Mobley accepting a bench role this year. Not the easiest thing for a senior to do. This was her team for the last 2 seasons. Lynn Milligan gave her the keys to the car. Battled shoulder injuries this season. Consummate team player, taking to her role as a 6th player.
She certainly has, and you know, when you're battling those kinds of injuries, it's not easy. You just can't get on track, but she's found her niche.
Cheyenne Moy gets downhill. Theus kicks for Chameleon. Triple try, off the mark. Rafaela Toussaint there for the rebound. Toussaint's athleticism is a problem game in and game out here in the MAAC.
And she's an important cog of this wheel. I mean, she has to do her job underneath in the defense and offensive rebounding.
Mobley hands to Evans. Wheeling her way inside, Theus with the stuff.
Now, I like the way that Theus just held her ground, stayed on her feet, and just tracked the ball.
Here's Theus right of the box. Toussaint comes with the double. That leaves Tharana Hodge-Carr open. And Hodge-Carr's got the baseline lay-in.
And credit to Theus with presence of mind, doubled down on the block, able to get the pass off.
Ketsia Theus doing a lot of little things for Iona, 6'2" junior from Brooklyn. Toomey fighting inside on Theus. Again, good D going straight up. Rider with an offensive carom. Schiffer going left on Moy. Toussaint sets the screen. Evans open for 3. Chameleon at the foul line for the carom. In transition, Hodge-Carr. One-on-one against Toussaint. Raffi blocks the shot.
And Raffi, I like where she just holds her ground, and I think she's so athletic and can get from block to block.
On the MAAC all-rookie team a season ago, this year averaging 11-7. Rafaela Toussaint with the athleticism and the game to disrupt just about any matchup in the MAAC. A lazy pass is stolen by Veseldinos. One-on-one with Toussaint, and Raffi stuffs the layup. Back-to-back blocks for Toussaint.
But Iona still regains the possession.
Hodge-Carr goes baseline. The cutter, Chameleon, can't get it to go in close.
The Bronx are doing a good job defensively of closing down the paint.
Inside a minute to go in a fast-paced first quarter. The only stoppage was the 5-minute media. These teams are off and running at 9:30 a.m. Mobley gets a jumper. And Athias with another rebound. Already 4 for Athias. About a 3-second differential here at the conclusion of the first.
Iona's going to wait for the last shot.
Chameleon for 3. It's good. She went early, but when you get a look that you can make, why not take it?
Well, her feet were set. She was all set.
And then Iona with the turnover. They can tie it with a 2. Hodgkar off glass. She got fouled and will go to the line.
That's what you like to see. Defense translating into good offense.
A game of runs, Di. Ryder had a 9-0 run earlier. Iona a 7-0 run to close the quarter. And Hodgkar to the line for a chance to grow it.
Well, before the game began, Coach Milligan came over and she said, this is like our practice time. So it's not surprising that they're out of the gate quickly. They do that back home. So the 8:30 slot was not a big deal.
Iona team that no strangers to the morning either. They do some lifts at this time. Hodgkar 1 out of 2. Mobley the rebound. Gets it off from half court but short. An entertaining 10 minutes in the books. And we've got a 1-point game here in Atlantic City. Ryder 16, Iona 15. Second quarter's next here on ESPN+. Lynn Milligan and the Ryder Bronx with a 1-point lead after 10 minutes of basketball. 16-15 Ryder. Coach Milligan in her 15th year leading her alma mater. Across the way, Billy Chambers. She's in her 9th season. Coach Chambers trying to replicate the success that she had back in 2016 when she led Iona to their first and only MAAC tournament championship.
And remember, Coach Milligan's team was positioned to win a MAAC championship, and the tournament got shut down.
Yeah, that was back in 2020, nearly 2 full years ago when COVID-19 ended the MAAC championship in the quarterfinal round. Chameleon for 3. Rebound for Anna Eckerstedt. That 2020 tournament We never got to see what may have been if Lynn Milligan's Rider Bronx went up against Brian George's Marist Red Foxes. Those two teams each had only 2 MAAC losses that year, seemed to be on a collision course. There would have been 9 seniors in the starting lineup that day, a game that MAAC fans never got to see.
And remember Stella Johnson from Rider, what a quality player, and one of the only MAAC players to go in the WNBA.
Well, it wasn't just Stella, right? It was Amari Johnson, Leah Favre, Aubrey Johnson. Here's Michaela Firebaugh for 3, and Firebaugh knocks it down.
Fireball's on fire early, and that's so important for the Rider Bronx. They need to make that 3-point shot against this Gale defense.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter offensively. 31% as a group coming in, 4th in the MAAC. Schiffer, Firebaugh, Eckerstedt, all legitimate 3-point shooting options. That can really space out a defense. Hodgkar across the lane for Athias.
Good work against the zone by the Iona Gales. Get it in the middle, feed your post down on the block.
It's been a good start for Ketsia Athias. 6 points and 4 boards for the Gales. Schiffer's already hit 3 threes. Here's Toussaint, one-on-one on Camille. Shoots over, and Athias with the rebound. Camille directing traffic. One of the highest basketball IQs in the MAAC. Devours film. Loves to learn about the game. Takes it to the basket and lays it in.
And that was set up by her passing in from one end to the other end and then driving the paint.
Iona getting on the ground defensively to disrupt. That was Judith Gomez. 5'9" freshman from Spain. The Spanish connection. So valuable for the Iona Gales, right? Camille, Lucia Becerra Perez, Judith Gomez, Maria Thenis, who starts at point. That all started with Marina Lizarazu, part of the 2016 MAAC championship team. She now plays pro in Spain. So does Iona great Joy Adams and a lot of youngsters.
And they just bring a different kind of style and flair to the game.
Yeah, a lot of youngsters in Spain will go to Joy Adams. We'll go to Marina Lizarazu. Talk to them about Iona. And I know Marina Lizarazu says, look, the decision to be a Gale was one of the best decisions I ever made. And that impacts a kid as they're thinking about, I want to go over to America, get a scholarship, go to college, play basketball.
And they see by going to Iona what she's done with her education and her athletic ability, so why not me?
Veseldinos from the elbow. Offensive rebound, Hodgkar. Here's Gomez for 3. Got it.
Wow.
Iona back in front. Love the response from the Gales after Rider went up big early. Bronx led by 9 at the midway point of the first quarter. Billy Chambers says, Di, when her team is playing their best, they're able to adjust on the fly, and that's what they've done so far this morning.
Absolutely, and I thought their shot selection was good. They were just, a little disrupted by the defense of the Bronx, but I thought after a while you get used to that, and now you're able to perform.
Moy, Gomez, Camille, Hodgkar, and Athias for the Gales. Camille, center of the zone. She knocks down the jumper.
How about the step back? And that's the way you attack the zone. You get into the heart of it in the middle.
That's 12 first half points for Juana Camille. Stepping up in a big way on the big stage. Second team all MAAC. Everybody lauds her defense, but sometimes gets lost is that she's 10th in the MAAC in scoring as well. Schiffer leans in at the foul line. Not the only thing that Schiffer hasn't seen go right here in the first.
And who was responsible for the rebound? Camille. She does everything out here.
Everything. 5 boards a game. 5th in the MAAC, better than 3 assists a game. And watch her on the ball defensively. The way that she uses her hands, she moves her feet. Textbook defense. Cheyenne Moy for 3.
Well, coming into the game that Rider was going to go back in their 2-3 zone. Usually it's a matchup. So the Iona Gales are prepared for it. A little screen top, getting some free looks.
Fireball can't end the Iona run. Another 8-0 spurt for the Gales. But an offensive rebound gives the Bronx another chance. 6-point advantage for Iona is their largest of the morning. Schiffer snipes a pass to Eckerstedt for an easy 2.
Good move by Schiffer. She drew 3 defenders, able to give a little bounce pass to Eckerstedt going to the basket.
Schiffer, really the definition of a combo guard, right? She can run the offense on the ball, but as we've already seen this morning, so valuable shooting threes off the rock. Moy trying to stay hot. Back to back for Cheyenne Moy.
I mean, you've got to close out stronger with this three-point shooting barrage of both teams.
10 total threes, Diane. 5 each way through the first 15 minutes. Schiffer, a little short. Eckerstedt gets tied up. Camilleone rolls it loose to Hodge Carr. Jump ball, possession, Ryder. We got a timeout on the court.
Boy, both teams are really getting after it this morning. They're very impressive play.
Up-tempo game here in Atlantic City. 30-23 Iona, 4:38 to go in the second quarter on ESPN+.
Now, for the first time,
how about we do a timeout for a great true story?
You see us spread the greatness of African American culture by reading books for you that will make you laugh, cry, sing, and learn. Basketball players and coaches support black culture and social justice by reading diverse books in an entertaining and engaging way for all kids. So make a timeout and go to www.timeoutforblacklives.com today, a MAAC initiative.
Black Lives Matter is not a phase, it's a movement.
This is about valuing everybody's life, just like mine and yours.
The ideas, the creations, everything that the black community has to offer, including our lives.
They matter, and they count.
Listen to the hurt in their voices. Listen to the mistrust.
Be willing to be uncomfortable, being a part of change.
Be an ally, not a bystander.
As a society, we can be better by coming together as one.
And when we all come together, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Black Lives Matter. United for justice.
Juana Camilleone leading Iona back from 7 down to 7 up. 4:38 to go in the second quarter. 12-4-4 for Camilleone while playing her typical textbook defense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's not only playing defense, but often her offense gets overlooked, and also her ability to find her teammates. She has 4 assists out here.
Schiffer, Toussaint, Eckerstedt, Fireball, and Evans. The starting 5 on the floor for Lynn Milligan and the Ryder Bronx. Foul on the floor. They'll get Camilleone.
Looks like Toussaint had inside position and just got pushed back.
First foul on Camilleone. Just the first foul on the Iona Gales.
And the Bronx only have 1 as well. Clean game so far.
Normally, Di, we joke at the broadcast table when it's a night game and you only have 2 fouls through 15 minutes that the officials got dinner reservations. Here, I think they want to catch that breakfast buffet.
Absolutely. Wawa Coffee's waiting.
3-second call. Toussaint didn't vacate the key.
You know, that's a call sometimes I wish they wouldn't call so quickly. You know, allow the player to get out of the lane. It doesn't have anything to do with the play. It's one of my little pet peeves.
Camilleone, Gomez, Moy, Hodgkar, and Athias. This is the look that has led Iona back. Bronx sticking with the matchup. Moy's already knocked down a couple of triples. That pass off the mark. She overshot everybody. And the Bronx will take over. Been a clean game turnover-wise, just the 3rd for Iona.
And it seemed that possession, the Bronx extended their defense a little bit. Closed out a little bit higher, up to the 3.
Athias out on Eckerstedt. Fireball around the Eckerstedt screen. Good job by Hodgkar to battle over it. Can the Bronx get Lenasia Evans going? No, she's 0 of 4 to start the tournament. Iona doing a good job taking away Evans and Toussaint. They've combined for just 2 points. Those are Ryder's leading scorers. Schiffer, Fireball, Eckerstedt. Trying to keep Cranberry and Cream in it. Camilleone. Moy for 3. Down the well. Third 3 for Cheyenne Moy. She's got 9 points. The junior from Lowell, Massachusetts, playing great down the stretch. Double figures in 3 of Iona's last 5, and that has carried over into the playoffs.
And how about the spacing of the Gales? I mean, Camilleone knew exactly where she wanted to get the ball, got it there right on target, feet set, fire away.
Double-digit lead for Iona. Toussaint all the way to the basket, but it bounces out. The lid on. Offensive rebound, kick out. Schiffer with her 4th 3.
And that's how important offensive rebounding is. You get the ball, you kick it out, and when you have a 3-point shooter like Schiffer, you can really get it going again.
Jessica Schiffer now in double figures, already over her average. Moy.
She's feeling it.
3 steps behind the line. It was a heat check. Camilleone jumps the pass. Dimes it out to Hodgkar. Unselfish for Gomez. Basketball's tied up. Stays with Iona on the arrow. After Cheyenne Moy cans another, Camilleone jumps a pass. Everything is going Iona's way here in the second quarter.
And how about their bench? I mean, they are totally into the game. They're having a great time over there cheering on their teammates.
Talked about that with both coaches yesterday, right? The 9:30 a.m. game. Sometimes you got to manufacture your own atmosphere. Restart Athias for the hook shot in the paint. The Iona bench has been up all game long. Lynn Milligan said, look, we're going to travel some of our injured players, which we haven't been doing all year. We're going to try and get as much life on our sidelines as possible here on a Tuesday morning in Atlantic City.
Well, in tournament time, you want the entire team here to experience it.
Toomey on an island. Fireball, deep 2. And Juana Camilleone skies up to grab it. Gales looking to build a 12-point lead. Cheyenne Moy finally cools down as she misses it. 4 threes here in the half for Moy. Came into the tournament, Diana, 20% shooter from outside the arc.
Well, during tournaments, there's always that third scorer on your team. You don't know who it's going to be due to matchups, but to win a championship, we know the stars have to come out, but that X factor of that third person.
And Moy's only a junior on the roster, but she's considering foregoing her final year of eligibility and going to law school. So this is a player who could be playing her final weekend of college basketball. Those folks have a way of stepping up when their careers are on the line.
Well, you want to remember your last game, so she's trying to make it memorable. And how about Evans stepping up to really, she needs to get some firepower for the Bronx.
That opens Evans' account. Gomez from the corner. Athias with another offensive rebound. She's been all over the glass. 8 and 8 in the first half. Gomez on the drive. Camilleone baseline. Shot clock in single digits. Camilleone, tough shot, banks it in.
Those 3 defenders.
Textbook use of the window. 40-28, Iona by 12. Last shot of the half to the Bronx. 3 seconds. Toomey lost it. Cheyenne Moy from midcourt. Moy didn't get the roll. With how hot she was in the first 20, that one looked like it was down the whole way. An entertaining opening half. Iona leading Ryder 40-28. We've got Phyllis trying to corral Coach Milligan, but the 2 coaches have made their way into the locker rooms. We'll try and get thoughts from them in a moment. Iona 40, Ryder 28. Halftime coming up next here on ESPN+.
Coach, Ryder came out hot, down 9 early in the first, go to a 12-point lead. What was the change you made to get your team going in this game?
I didn't make the change. It was them. We talked about getting back to our standard defensively, making sure that we were running three-point shooters off the line and doing a better job of boxing out and securing the rebound.
Just talk about your defense for a second. Just outstanding through that whole second quarter.
Yeah, Juana's our defensive stopper. She sets the tone. I walk into that huddle. She's getting after them, telling them what to do. She's calling out the play calls and reminding them that we know what we're doing, and they just follow her lead. So I'm really proud of how they stepped it up in the second quarter.
Great job, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
40-28, Iona leading Ryder. Halftime's next here on ESPN+. It's halftime in Atlantic City. The Iona Gales leading the Ryder Broncs 40-28. Jeff Brault alongside Diane Nolan, Phyllis Mangino with our courtside interviews. Diane, Ryder started the game hot. They were up 9, 16-7 at the midway point of the first quarter, and then the Iona Gales engineering a dramatic turnaround behind Juana Camilleon, Cheyenne Moy, and Ketsia Athias.
Well, Iona Gales are known for their defense, and boy, they really cranked it up in the second quarter. They closed down the passing lanes, and they made shots very difficult. Sheffer was able to hit from the outside, but the inside got closed down.
Everybody making shots as we roll some first half highlights. Camilleon diming it out to Athias. If you like inside baskets, these are the last ones you're going to see because it is a lot of triples from here on out.
Well, both teams came out really with their firepower ready to go. They had their coffee and really stuck it from the outside.
Camilleon, a couple of threes. Cheyenne Moy, 4 of them. Michaela Firebaugh there, hitting her triple for the Ryder Broncs.
And anything you can do, I can do better.
Judith Gomez getting into the act. How about Schiffer for her 4th first half three? And then Cheyenne Moy, 12 points, nearly doubling her average per game, stroking 4 of 6 threes here in the opening half. You add it all up, and this is what it looks like. Ryder, 6 of 9 from 3, and they're trailing. Iona, 7 of 14 from downtown. The Gales sharing the basketball extremely well. 11 assists on 16 made baskets, but so are the Bronx. 8 dimes on their 11 made field goals.
And how about the clean game? Only 2 fouls called the entire half.
Fast-paced, up and down. This ain't Pete Carrill's Princeton offense today, Di. Oh, no. These two coaches play it up-tempo. They like to run. They like to get offensive rebounds and kick out to shooters, and we had an entertaining first 20.
We certainly did, and I like the way people came off screens. They came off tight, they came off in purpose, and they knew they got the basket, and they're ready to go.
Iona 40, Ryder 28, the score at intermission. The winner gets top-seeded Fairfield tomorrow. More of the halftime after this on ESPN+. The MAAC Basketball Championships are brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. By Jersey Mike's, a sub above. And by Levy Recognition, solutions that elevate performance. A couple of beautiful shots of Atlantic City, the host of this championship for the 3rd consecutive season. Basketball down on the boardwalk. What could be better?
Absolutely. And in the morning time, sunrise, and here we are on the basketball court.
Good look at Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall and a good look at the basket inside of it, where these two teams somehow have left that net intact the way that they are burning it. Ryder shooting 42%, Iona 47%. There's been 13 made threes. What does the second stanza have in store? We'll find out after this on ESPN+. Iona 40, Ryder 28 as we're getting ready for the third quarter here in Atlantic City. Jeff Brault along with Diane Nolan and Phyllis Mangina roving the sidelines. In just a few moments, Diane, Phyllis is going to catch up with Ryder head coach Lynn Milligan. A dream start for Ryder as they made their first 4 field goals. They led by 9 at the 5-minute mark of the opening quarter, and then the Iona Gales were able to adjust and turn it around. What changed in your eyes?
Well, I thought defensively, Iona was able to get out into the passing lanes, and I thought they closed down Ryder's. They knew that they were scoring the 3. They closed out higher and arms up, and I thought it made it difficult for Ryder to score and keep that momentum going. Defensively, I just think they are really hitting on all cylinders.
As Coach Milligan makes her way over to Phyllis Mangina, she is hoping for a visit longer than the one she would take with her family to Atlantic City as a child. She's from about an hour away in the Philadelphia suburbs on the New Jersey side of the river, and Coach Milligan would tell us that as a kid, sometimes she and her parents would come down to the boardwalk to ride bikes, grab breakfast, and just swing back home. She's not hoping for a day trip to the Jersey Shore. No. She needs her team to turn around a 12-point deficit to extend their stay and get their crack at number 1 seed Fairfield tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, like we said, their time to shine got cut short. So you remember that, and now that you're here, you want to extend that time. And I know Coach Milligan loves the Jersey Shore. We grew up in the same area, and all of our parents brought us down here, and Atlantic City was certainly a trip that you had to make. Once in a while, you'd get on Steel Pier, maybe you would see the little horse go down the chute. Years and years ago, we'd hear about it.
Iona's got a young team, yes, but they're a veteran squad as far as tournament play goes. A lot of this team was involved
in the first quarter.
run.
What are some of the adjustments you'll make defensively to stop the penetration and in the threes that Iona's taking on you?
Yeah, I think we got a little bit too anxious in our zone. We got to get back to doing what makes our zone good and make sure that we're doing our jobs, our specific jobs, particularly our tops. We got to rebound better on the offside, and then obviously we got to do a better job offensively, just handling their pressure, being more athletic, being players, and just giving ourselves some easier touches getting to the rim.
Good luck today in the second half.
Thanks, Phyllis.
Back to you guys.
Phyllis, thank you, Coach Milligan. She snuck out of the huddle there on us. We got the third quarter coming up next. Back in Boardwalk Hall after this on ESPN+. Time for the second half here in Boardwalk Hall, the Jersey Shore. Iona leading Ryder 40-28. Gales led by Juana Chameleon with 14 points, 5 boards, and 6 dimes, more than halfway to a triple-double. Cheyenne Moy with 12 points on 4 threes as well. 12 points for Jessica Schiffer. That leads Ryder. They've got 7 for Michaela Fireball. I think Lynn Milligan's got to figure out how to get Lanisha Evans and Raphael Toussaint involved. On the season, those two combine for 25 points a game. Through 20 minutes, they've got 4.
Absolutely, and you can tell that Evans is really a focal point of the Gales' defense, and she's got to be able to be craftier out here, use the screens, get herself open.
Ryder's got the first possession of the third quarter. Schiffer, Toussaint, Evans, Fireball, and Eckerstedt, the starting 5 for Lynn Milligan. Trying to set up Toussaint. Well, that's well defended by Tharana Hodge-Carr. Hodge-Carr has been giving Iona great minutes off the bench, part of the lineup that has led them back as she gets the start here in the second half.
Well, she's given up inches against Toussaint, and she knew that she had to come around her left shoulder, and she was able to get around and really time her cut, steal the ball.
Cheyenne Moy to Atheus, little screen and roll action. Good D inside by Eckerstedt.
And you got to love the play of Eckerstedt. She does so many things for the Bronx out here. She can score the three. She always gets a tough defensive assignment, and she's able to get involved in mostly every play.
Toussaint with the offensive rebound and one on the second chance.
And Toussaint's a player that has to come alive in this second half. She has to get her touches. She has to be smart and go up strong with the ball. She has to challenge inside.
She's played great against Iona in the regular season at 14-12 and 13-9 in the two games, both of which went the way of the Gales. But Toussaint was big for Ryder, and they need her here in the second half to keep their season alive.
And you can see the Gales are pushing the pace.
Ryder tried to run him off the floor early, but Iona's done a good job hanging in the up-tempo game. Veseldinos for three.
Right in front of her bench. She knew that was going down.
That's the first three for Veseldinos, who is one of Iona's best three-point shooters. If she gets hot on the perimeter, along with Moy and Camille Leon, it could be curtains.
Well, Moy's having a day today.
Toussaint bumps into Camille Leon.
And they're another example of how we say the basketball IQ of Camille Leon. She saw the drive coming, got her feet in good position, held her ground, drew the charge.
Quite the morning on both ends for the junior from Spain. She's in her fourth season at Iona. Nearly identical numbers to last year. 13, 5, and 3. Stuffs the stat sheet and does all the things that don't show up in the numbers.
Well, Billy had talked about in the huddle, she is the one, she's the director. She gets her teammates going. She gives them direction, and they listen.
And you see her every possession, calling out screens, diagramming where the ball goes. 14-foot take. Shots off the mark. And it's out of bounds off Ryder. So a fresh 20 for the Iona Gales.
That's something Ryder needs to clamp down on. They've got to get more possessions. They've got to grab the defensive rebound.
Camille Leon restarts for Moy. Athias facing Eckerstedt, and that's a travel.
Another example of Eckerstedt's ability out here. I think she is so versatile in what she can do. Right then, she had to guard one of the toughest post players in the league and caused a turnover.
Eckerstedt, a junior by class, but she's been playing basketball a long time. 23 years old, well-schooled, understands how to play D as a big. Evans gives it right back with a travel of her own.
And Evans knows she's got to get going. That time just a little too quickly, made her move a little too fast, got called for the travel.
Yeah, Lenasia Evans, a player whose career will come to a close at the conclusion of this season. Played 2 seasons in junior college before heading to Lawrenceville. Ryder the steal. Evans barrels into Camille Leon, and this time Juana's called for the block.
Smart move by Evans. She knew Camille Leon was there, but she was able to change her shoulder, change her delivery a little bit, and draw the charge. And then the Bronx started putting some full court pressure on the Gales. They need to change this game a bit.
Second foul on Juana Camille Leon. Lenasia Evans, a 74% foul shooter. Evans really breaking out this year at average 14 points a game, 6th best in the MAAC coming in. Lynn Milligan says that breakout is just because of hard work. Nothing fancy. Just put in the time. The game started to slow down. Committed to playing lockdown defense. And that's helped things open up on the offensive end as well.
Well, you always know the Ryder Bronx are going to improve under the tutelage of Lynn Milligan. Their players just get better year after year.
Hodgkar misses the floater. Schiffer leads out for Evans. The jumper from the short corner is good, but it doesn't matter. Offensive foul. Did she extend that arm? No, it's Eckerstedt for an illegal screen.
Eckerstedt on the low block just got a little too fast with what she wanted to do and didn't get position.
Well, maybe Evans passed up the open 3 in the corner to drive in. Maybe that got Eckerstedt uncertain about whether she was going to have to box or go ahead and set a screen. Camille Leon nearly dribbled it into the backcourt. And then did they get...
They were too quick.
They timeout Billy Chambers. I don't think she wanted a timeout. Scott Birkin's over on the table.
I think Scott got tied up in the play and wasn't sure what to call.
He was pointing at Coach Chambers, who's like, I didn't say anything, and it will stay with Iona. Veseldinos for three. Long rebound for Eckerstedt. Such good positioning.
Yes. And when Eckerstedt and Toussaint are playing off of each other, that adds a different dimension for the Bronx.
Start to the third quarter, a little sloppy. The first was beautifully played. And now the two teams, I think with the pressure of a season on the line, tightened up a little bit here in the start of the third.
Well, it's one of those situations where you don't want a halftime. Let's just keep going. Halftime, now we take a breath and we don't need one.
Athias isolated on Eckerstedt. Spins to the right. Toussaint bumps the rebound out of bounds.
And, during halftime, the adjustments are made. So now how quickly can you readjust out here on the third quarter?
Yeah, Ryder defensively holding Iona to just 1 of 6 from the floor since intermission. Ryder's problem the other way is they can't hold on to the basketball. In the corner, Veseldinos. Quick three is short. And again, just can't rebound it strong. That's twice in a row. And then Ryder will give Iona another possession because they're not getting the ball strong off the glass.
And they're actually bumping into each other.
Chameleon finds Moy coming into the baseline. Floater comes up with air as Toussaint secures the rock. Schiffer for Fireball. Open three. Athias saves it, but it bounces on the baseline. That was a risky play to try to save it under your own basket.
It always is, especially if you're out of control. I mean, you might be passing right into a layup to the opposition.
Fireball to restart the offense. Schiffer's Riders leading scorer with 12. Dumps it down low to Toussaint behind the defense, and that's easy money for the sophomore.
Good move by Schiffer. She was able to do a little pivot to get some space and was able to feed Toussaint underneath.
Lynn Milligan increasing her full court pressure here in the second half, and that's had an effect.
Billy wants to talk about it.
Will break as well. 5:26 to go in the third quarter. Iona's lead is 9, 43-34 the score here in the opening game of the MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Hercules Tires. Iona head coach Billy Chambers and her team bouncing back beautifully from a difficult weekend in Western New York to close the regular season. Iona had the snowball rolling downhill, winning 3 straight before that Western New York sojourn. They had 39 turnovers in a loss at Niagara. Juana Camillion fouled out. That ended the winning streak, and then they gave up 71 points to the Canisius Golden Griffins in the regular season finale, struggling with the contrast of styles between Jada Pierce, Hurricane Havoc, and Sahar Nusebe's more grinded out, down-tempo offense.
That's not an easy trip, and I know talking to Billy before the game, she said it really made them refocus and say, okay, we did not go up there and do what we wanted to do. Now we have to work on a few things and get ready for AC.
Refocus and get back into a rhythm, right? It's been a start and stop season for the Iona Gales. Had a 35-day layoff due to COVID-19 from November 23rd to December 18. Players in and out of the lineup despite the fact that games were still going on. Coach Chambers said really it wasn't until February that we finally felt like things were returning to normal and that we were getting into a flow.
Well, basketball players need reps, and they couldn't get reps with their starting 5 because of what you just said, and that's so difficult. How about Moy off the glass, off the window?
The bank is open for Cheyenne Moy. She's hitting everything. 5 threes for the junior from Lowell, Massachusetts.
That brought a smile to her face.
The way her game's been going, she might have called it. Toussaint juggles it inside. Single-digit shot clock. Toussaint with a mismatch on Hodge Carr, but the D forces the travel. Hodge Carr, just 5'8", listed as a freshman from Iceland. Last year played 11 minutes a game. Playing big for the Iona Gales, getting a bunch of minutes. Her team in front by 11. Ryder trying to come back at the midway point of the third.
If our turkey had a resume, it would say it's 99% fat-free, filler-free, and raised without antibiotics. But our turkey already has its dream job at Jersey Mike's. Premium meat makes a sub above.
We are the MAAC Social Justice Committee.
We aim to increase awareness and acceptance for everyone,
regardless of race, sexual orientation, religion, or gender.
Using our platforms to make change
and becoming involved for the betterment of our campuses, teams, and greater communities.
Social justice means being a player on and off the field.
Social justice means thinking of a world much bigger than you.
We challenge you to continue to engage in reformative policy and to promote equity and inclusion for the long haul.
A group comprised of 11 member institutions,
working together to represent the voices of all student athletes
at the campus, conference, and national levels.
Though our mascots and colors may be different,
our mission brings us together in unity.
We aim to protect and promote student athlete well-being,
create inclusive environments for all,
give back to the surrounding community through service,
and represent the needs of the student athletes outside of athletics.
Together, we make an impact.
Together, we are.
Together, we are.
Together, we are.
MAAC.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers. Whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Book your New Jersey summer getaway now. Go for those sunshine vibes and sand buckets of beach and boardwalk fun. Celebrate life's brightest moments. Then linger a while in your urban oasis, forest retreat, or oceanside bliss. Boost your mood in New Jersey's Feel Great destinations. Create your escape at visitnj.org/booknow.
Alone, chicken, onions, peppers, and cheese have potential. Together, they have a purpose, a destiny, and a name. Because grilled to order makes a sub above.
Juana Camillion in double figures to lead Iona, 14 points, along with Cheyenne Moy. It's the 18th time this year that Camillion has dropped 10 or more, and she is staying hot. Down the stretch in the regular season at 3 games of 17 or more, averaging 19 points per, including a 30-burger in the loss at Canisius.
And about the way she distributes the ball? I mean, she has 6 assists today, but she certainly is the director out here on the offensive end.
Iona breaking the press and running the floor. That is textbook execution out of the timeout, an easy 2 for Athias.
Well, you knew Billy was expecting the Rider Bronx to do something different, and the press was what they had in mind, and they were able to defend it.
And there's Chameleon defensively. Ahead to Hodge Carr for the easy lay-in. Back-to-back buckets.
How about the contributions of Hodge Carr, not only on the defensive end, but on the offensive end as well?
5 points, 3 assists, playing big minutes. A lift from Tharana Hodge Carr off the bench. That's what it takes in March Dye. It takes everybody on the roster. Tough shot. Eckerstedt. Here's Toussaint, smothered by Chameleon, has to give up to Schiffer. Riders only gotten off 4 shots thus far in the quarter. Close one doesn't fall for Evans.
And look, 3 white jerseys are surrounding there to get the defensive rebound.
Chameleon doesn't let the press set up. Spots Gomez for 3. Offensive Karam Athias. And she's got second chance points. A double-double for Ketsia Athias.
Hard work pays off. She stayed with the play and was able to go get the rebound and put it up through traffic.
7th double-double of the year for the junior from Brooklyn. Evans tries to get by Chameleon, but easier said than done. Juana Chameleon again making life difficult for Riders' leading scorer.
And you can see that Iona wants to work for a good shot now. They don't want to rush anything. They want to get what they want on the offensive end.
Hodge Carr falling out of bounds. Eckerstedt with the easy steal. It's been over 3 minutes since Ryder has scored. Try to get it quickly inside. A foul on Iona.
And Toussaint at that time said, okay, I'm now defending you, Harvey Carr, and I'm going to force you to go baseline and cough it up.
Foul on Judith Gomez. First on the freshman from Spain. Just trying to solidify that Spanish pipeline die. A few years ago, Billy Chambers and Iona associate head coach Ashley Kelly, they went over to Barcelona for a few days to meet with coaches, to visit with some players. I was talking with Coach Chambers about that trip yesterday. I was like, boy, really drawing the short straw on that one, hun. She goes, look, it was a little bit like the movie European Vacation. They only saw the sights out of the window of the taxi, trying to, take pictures of the basilica as they blew by. Didn't have time for a whole lot of sightseeing on that trip. It was all business. And the Spanish players that Coach Kelly and Coach Chambers have been able to bring into the program over the last handful of seasons led to a lot of success.
Well, the results of their business trip were certainly a success. So you know that it was business and it wasn't on a pleasure trip. Although they're now reaping the pleasure of their trip.
Juana Chameleon earning a couple of free throws. Just about the only thing that she hasn't done yet today is knock down foul shots. This will be her first trip to the line. And for a player as well schooled as she is, it should be no surprise that she's a 76% foul shooter.
Just the way she carries herself out on the court, you can tell she's a student of the game.
For all that Chameleon does, making plays defensively, good shooter, able to drive the basketball, running the offense, a coach on the floor. She does it all with a high work rate. Her utilization of energy is as good as any player at this level of basketball.
Well, if you look at her right now, it doesn't look like she's sweated at all, and she's been in every play.
Amanda Mobley on the court running the Rider offense. Schiffer around a Toomey screen. Here's Fireball from the corner. A 3 badly needed for the Rider Bronx.
Now that time you could see the Rider Bronx knew what they wanted to do, and they did it quickly. They did it with purpose, and they got the shot that they wanted.
And the made shot will allow them to set up the full court press that has been effective. But Rider able to break it. Chameleon. Here's Athias. Has to kick to Izzy Lipinski. Her first shot of the game is no good, but Chameleon is there for the rebound. Tough layup, and she got it to fall. Juana Chameleon. Give her 18 points.
But how about the way she scored that time? Oh,
Schiffer.
That'll shut you down.
Just a sliver of daylight for Jessica Schiffer's 5th 3.
And that's all she needs to get her shot off. Just give her a little bit of space.
Really the first time all year that Schiffer has been a difference maker in a matchup with Iona. Had only 2 points in the first game. Did knock down 3 threes, 11 points in the second. Schiffer's leading the way for Ryder this afternoon. 15 points. Inside a minute to go in the third quarter. Izzy Lipinski just fixing up the footwear. Junior from Farmington, Connecticut. Started her career at Division II Franklin Pierce. Now in her first season at Iona. Gomez in a tough spot, able to pass before the trap, and Hodge-Carr's got them in the half court. And now Camille Leon with a glance over at her head coach. She's got the set. Theus at 20 feet. Driving, battling with Toomey. 5 to fire. Lipinski, that's a travel. A rare turnover. Just Iona's 7th, coming in 18 a game on average. They've really valued the basketball, and it's allowed them to outshoot outshoot Ryder 50 to 35.
Well, Lipinski coming in adds a little more length on the defensive end, and you need that when you're trying to shut down three-point shooters.
A 14-point lead for the Gales. Mobley trying to cut into it, and Ken with the tough
runner. That's the Mobley
runner.
we were used to seeing before she got injured. She was able to take the ball strong to the hole, use the glass.
A steal at the end of the quarter. Toussaint is called for an offensive foul. Quick recovery, Tharana Hodge-Carr continuing her strong play.
And they did call an offensive foul.
So 4.7 seconds for Iona to work with as the Bronx set up their press. Cheyenne Moy coming in for Judith Gomez. Moy has knocked down 4 threes and nearly got one to go from half court at the second quarter horn.
And that brings in a little more ball handling skills against this press of the Bronx.
Inbounds to Camille Leon at 90 feet. 2 seconds. Camille Leon, midcourt heave. 30 minutes in the books. No separation between the two in the third. 15 all since halftime. Iona maintains their 12-point advantage going to the final frame of regulation. The Iona Gales hitting shots on the perimeter this morning. They're 8 of 18 from 3, 44%, shoring up a great weakness for them during the regular season. Coming into the tournament, just 27% as a group from beyond the arc. Coach Chambers is saying, look, when we're getting offensive rebounds, kicking out, finding threes, we're a difficult team to beat, and they're proving that this morning.
Oh, absolutely, and they knew they were going to be facing some zone defense, so what are you going to do? Make sure that you can shoot from the perimeter, and they certainly listened. And we always talk about that X-factor player out here, and I think Cheyenne Moy today has certainly been that for the Gales.
Cheyenne Moy, in her 4th season at Iona, played big minutes as a freshman and sophomore. The last 2 years, that's dipped a bit. She's been playing more down the stretch and playing really well down the stretch coming into the tournament. Good to see it carry over to playoff basketball as Ryder gets a steal. Eckerstedt disrupts Athias. That's been a fun matchup to watch this morning.
It certainly has.
Mobley to Toomey running the floor, and the big getting some points going to the rack.
And set up by Toomey. You know, Toomey, again, has been out here on the big stage before and knows how to find her teammates.
Iona again able to handle the press. Eckerstedt out on Veseldinos. Moy, Camilleon, Athias, and Hodge Carr join her on the court. Athias screens for Camilleon. The deep 2. Rebound Athias, adding to her double-double. There's the kick to Veseldinos, and she steps into 2.
I know, you really need to credit Athias underneath the basket. I mean, she was surrounded by maroon jerseys, was able to careem the rebound, kick it out, and get a 3.
That wasn't the offensive rebound 3. It was the offensive rebound deep 2, but the same principle applies. Hit the offensive boards, which Iona's done 16 times. Find a shooter, and let him hit shots. Gale shooting 44% from the floor.
Well, they're coming up with some clean looks. You know, they're running their offense, and they're coming off screens tight, and they're making the right decisions. So the shooters are getting set up in a nice way, not having to work real hard to get their shot.
Fireball curls from the left. Camilleon right on her to poke the basketball into the backcourt. It's out of bounds off the tap. No, Camilleon, yes indeed, it was out of bounds off the tap of Camilleon. But because it rolled so far into the backcourt, Ryder's got to go about 80 feet in just 5 seconds.
Well, another example of her quick hands that you talked about earlier.
Mobley, 3 seconds. From just inside the midcourt line, almost found a way to get it to go. And the basketball belongs to Iona.
And the way the teams have been shooting from the 3, it would not have surprised us had that gone in.
There have been some surprisingly close midcourt looks here in the opener of the MAAC tournament. Next up, the Marist Red Foxes, seeded 10th, taking on the 7th seed St. Peter's Peacocks. It's a rematch of last year's MAAC championship game, which went the way of Marist. That game will be right here on ESPN+. However you're enjoying this one is how you can enjoy that one. Top of the arc, Camilleon got the 3 to go. Her 3rd of the ball game, 21 points for Juana Camilleon.
And how about how she sets her feet to receive the pass to get the shot off?
3rd game of the year with 20 or more. 2nd in a row. Hot at the right time. Elbow jumper for Schiffer. Her first 2-point field goal of the game.
Now the Bronx have to apply a little more pressure on the passers on the outside of the 3-point arc.
Wonderful execution there as Hodge Carr found the cutting Veseldinos. Possession's getting critical for Ryder. Checked away from behind. That was Veseldinos. And then a foul in transition. Mobley lost the rock and then commits the frustration personal.
Well, what's been impressive with the Gales' defense, it just never stops. You know, it doesn't matter who's coming in, what position they're playing. They are all on the same page on the defensive end, poking at every pass, making it hard to run your offense.
They're a team that's typically going to get better and better, especially defensively as the year goes along. Talking to Coach Chambers, she is someone who is very technical in the way she wants her team to play defense. It takes some time to learn the intricacies of a system like the one that she wants her team to play. That means when it gets to March and you've been doing it for 5 months, it's that much easier.
And also with your full complement of players.
Well, that certainly helps as well. Last few years, it's been hard to come by. Schiffer pulls up, back irons the three. That's Athia's 15th rebound.
And that's a good shot for Schiffer. You know, she has that kind of range. They need some buckets quickly, and her three can excite the Bronx.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Schiffer's been shooting it well. Let her keep firing. Ryder able to keep it after tying up the basketball. 12 and 14 for Athias.
That's the kind of day it's been for the Ryder Bronx, right there.
It sure has. They've missed a lot of close ones. Now Iona can grind it out with some dribble weave. It's been fun to watch these two teams that approach offensive philosophy in a similar way do battle here this morning.
Well, you could see who was going to get the wrinkle because everyone knows each other so well, and they know the offense they practice against there on the defensive end when they're going against first team, second team.
Hodgkar juggles it inside. Amanda Mobley, senior for Ryder, tries to blow by Veseldinos, and Veseldinos reaches in to commit the personal. That's her first.
And Mobley saw that lane open, and you know, when you're a senior, you say, okay, I've got to do something out here. And she wants to really get her team back in this, and she's got to get shots quickly, decides to go right to the paint.
Check that, it's the second foul on Veseldinos. Amanda Mobley this year, a 65% free throw shooter. Player who's meant so much to Ryder over the past few seasons. Second team All-MAAC as a sophomore, 6th in the league last year as a junior in terms of assists per game. This year embracing a bench role, dealing with some shoulder injuries, playing some critical minutes here down the stretch. Mobley is considering returning for her 5th year next season, and that would certainly be welcome by Lynn Milligan and Ryder fans. Another wonderful press break. Easy layup for Cheyenne Moy.
Picture perfect. I mean, everybody was in the right position, and the ball moved up quickly.
And an offensive foul. Who took that? Was that Camilio? No, that was Judith Gomez. 32, not 22. But I tell you, that is a play that Judith Gomez makes because she plays with Juana Camilio. And the freshman getting to watch Camilio and see what she does, embody the toughness and the identity. And, well, maybe she didn't make it so much as Mobley just tripped her.
Exactly. Right place, right time, though. I mean, you got to sell it.
We'll give her credit because you do have to sell it. And the officials now are going to have a look at the monitor. Now I wonder if they're going to see if they need to assess a flagrant foul on the trip. When we saw it live with the eyes moving in transition, it looked like just a good block. And yes, indeed, they are going to look and see if that common foul would need to be upgraded.
But just by the facial exchanges of the two players, you thought there was a little bit more there.
You know, it seemed to me like it was in the lower body. Right, oftentimes you're watching them play live, you see it high, and it seemed like, you know, Iona just doing what they try to do defensively, which is take charges. They put it on the whiteboard every game. We want to take 4 charges a night, and that's not what occurred there. Good to see Gomez pop right back up. And the officials will now make a determination if they need to change that foul. Certainly don't believe it would be a flagrant 2 and a cause for ejection, but possibly
not at
a
all.
Flagrant 1. And
I mean, you're talking. Here we go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure Mobley even knew she was there. I mean, she knew she was there, but did she go back into her path, or was she just trying to get space?
It's been a frustrating game for Mobley. Saw her commit a frustration foul a few moments ago after losing the ball from behind. And there's certainly a decision to be made here as to whether that is more than a common foul on Amanda Mobley.
Well, I think it's a difficult call to make. I mean, she was just trying to walk back. Did she walk back too closely? Was it intentional? You don't know.
There's Coach Milligan and Mobley having a chat. Amanda Mobley really more so than any other player on the Rider side, an extension of Coach Milligan out on the floor. Our three officials, Ashley Good, Lori Deutsch, Scott Berkins, they're
taking their time.
Exactly, in discussion. I would imagine they will soon bring both coaches together. And indeed, here comes Coach Chambers and Coach Milligan. Now my favorite part of every broadcast, we try to read the pantomiming. And Coach Milligan nodding. Lori Deutsch going to let us know what's been decided. And indeed, it stays a common foul. So the officials review it, they talk it over with both coaches, and it remains a personal on Mobley. That brings us to a timeout on the court. 5:29 remaining in the fourth. Iona leading Rider 64-49 here on ESPN+. The Iona Gales able to score at all three levels this morning as they lead the Rider Broncs 64-49. Sometimes it's a simple game, Di. Go ahead and hit 9 threes and compile 30 points in the paint when you can make shots both inside and out.
And how about 17 second chance points? So you're also doing the work on the rebounding end.
31-23 is Iona's edge on the glass. This is a team that struggled to score at times. They shoot a high percentage. But come into the tournament 10th in the MAAC, 56 points per game. They've done a very good job adjusting to the faster tempo, being able to execute their stuff at a quicker rate. Lana Camilleon leading the charge, 21-7-7.
Well, when it's the third time you're playing someone, you know adjustments have to be made.
Judith Gomez switches the three, her second of the game.
And a little dance routine by the Iona bench. They've got it down. They are even involved.
Yeah, they're ready for March 2 as Iona answers with a 2. But if you're Iona, you'll take 3 for 2 for the final 5 minutes. The press committing a foul. Cheyenne Moy fouled on the sideline by Jessica Schiffer.
And that's what Rider has to be careful. You need to be aggressive, but you got to make sure that you're in balance and you're not sending them to the free throw line.
Gomez able to dribble out of the trap. Chameleon keeps Evans on her hip. And now Tharana Hodgkar. Hodgkar, 5 points and 7 assists while playing some excellent defense off the bench. Moy is fouled
and of course
got
it goes
to
in.
Go. Have a morning, Cheyenne Moy.
And you know what? Her teammates understand it's her day, and they're finding her, giving her the ball, letting her go and do her stuff.
Oh, they didn't give her the continuation die. They didn't give it to her.
But the only thing she hasn't had.
Hodgkar goes high off the glass for 2.
Impressive game by Hodgkar today.
Agreed. Really has come to life in the second half of the season. Tharana Hodgkar in the last 11 games of the regular year averaging 7 points a game, 4 games in double figures, playing more minutes and making the most of them.
And you know, Iona does so well. They cover you off the screen where when you have lost your defender, you know, the recovery is so fast, it's hard for you to get your shot off clean.
Hard to believe that this Iona team is the 8th seed. More so, Di, than any year I can remember. There is a logjam in the middle of the MAAC. There are some teams that are playing today. They can play some good basketball.
Absolutely, Jeff. Remember, we looked at the last night, like we didn't know where the seeds were going. That's how closely the seeding was, and how all season long you never knew who was going to win the game.
Yeah, with 2 games left in the regular season, there were something like 7 teams still eligible for a bye.
And the quality of play has been so good this year.
Joe Frager and the Fairfield Stags, the number 1 seed. Only 1 loss to Siena. Manhattan, Quinnipiac, 3 and 2 respectively. But don't count out Niagara. This Iona team is playing well. Siena's gone on runs. Selena Falaxi is playing great. St. Peter's has a number of weapons. Marist, the 10 seed, is the defending champion. Brian Georges in March is never a matchup you want to see.
Well, Phyllis Mangina and I do a podcast, and this past week we were talking about who would you want to see in the MAAC tournament. And as we went down the list, we finally figured out it was like nobody. Everyone was a threat.
I mean, even Canisius, the 11 seed, got a win over this Iona team, dropping 71 points in their regular season finale. So Harnusebe has done a wonderful job in her first year, focusing on process over results, getting her team to buy in to the identity that she wants to infuse on her Canisius Golden Griffin team. And, well, look out. Those young teams are only going to get better and better as the year goes along, top to bottom, the MAAC. Really
Absolutely.
Deep conference.
And I thought, you know, really all the coaches need to be commended because no team packed it in early. They all got better as the season wore on.
Athias kicks for Gomez, and Iona reigns in another.
You know, when you're the guard out there and you get a picture-perfect pass from your post, you better knock it down, and she certainly did.
11th Gale 3. They've gotten it done on the defensive end as well.
Now, Jeff, let me ask you this. Before the game, would you have suspected that Iona would score 11 threes?
Well, I've looked at a statistic sheet, and it would certainly be improbable. But here in Atlantic City, as everybody knows,
you roll the dice.
Exactly right. Sometimes your number comes up, and it's 11 for Iona. 3-pointers made. Cheyenne Moy with 4 of them. Juana Chameleon and Judith Gomez with 3. Vezel Dinos has chipped in the 11th. And don't discount Ketsia Athias. 12 points and 15 big rebounds.
And how about the Ryder Bronx started out so quickly out of the gate with a 3 and then kind of went cold, made some adjustments, but hasn't been able to really recoup what they started in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it was a great start for Ryder. They were hitting everything in the early going. Led by 9 at the midway point of the first quarter, made their first 5 shots. But credit the Gales. They made the adjustment. They handled the adversity, and they will get their crack at Fairfield tomorrow. Another excellent press break. Iona's only turned it over 11 times, 7 under their season average, putting together one of their best performances of the year on the biggest stage. Remember, this is an Iona team that beat Quinnipiac down in New Rochelle earlier this year. Talk about how much parity there is in the MAAC. It seems like more than any year in recent memory, anybody can beat anybody.
It happened all season long.
Gomez from the corner again. And a rebound for Eckerstedt.
I said earlier I would not want to have been a betting person this year in the MAAC.
Schiffer runs into Camilleon, and they'll get her for a block. Tried to sell it, and here comes a line change. Billy Chambers bringing in the bench unit that's been so creative on the made threes. They've really got to dip into their bag of tricks as the bench mob becomes the 5 on the floor. Camilleon departs with 21 points, 7 boards, and 7 dimes. A double-double for Atheus, 12 and 16. Izzy Lipinski, Jazz Ben on the floor along with Lucia Becerra-Perez.
And how about the 20 assists? I mean, they knew what they wanted to get, and they shared the basketball, where some people, if you're having a day, you overextend yourself. This time they did not, and they were sharing it, and everyone got benefit.
Fireball gets the second chance 3. She's got 13 points. And Ryder takes time out. New post players for Iona, Jessica Rogers, Paula Weeks, as they'll get some run here. And when you have to play in the opening round, it's so important that you be able to rest your starters as much as possible, because any team that's playing today has to win 4 in order to take the title. If you finish in the top 5, you get a bye, and you don't debut until Wednesday or Thursday, depending on where you finish, and that's a big advantage. You only have to play 3 games instead of the 4 that the teams that play on Tuesday must deal with.
But I always thought that when you played on Tuesday, you had a win under your belt. And as you sat in the stands watching and waiting, sometimes it was that added punch that you needed as a Tuesday team playing.
Yeah, you get a chance to play on the court, right? There's some interesting depth perception angles here in Boardwalk Hall. An oddly shaped facility. It's like a U shape. There's a stage on the end behind the basket to the left with a really cool antique organ. So many great acts have played in this building. It's a facility with a great history in the world of boxing. Some big-time heavyweight fights have gone down here in Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. Getting some time on this floor is indeed an advantage, because it's a backdrop unlike any in college basketball.
It certainly is, which is surprising that both teams came out shooting lights out from the 3.
Yeah, that said, both of these teams, which haven't shot on this court before, are over 50% from 3, so maybe it doesn't matter at all. It's like that scene in Hoosiers, right? They measure the court, they see how high the baskets are. Turns out it's exactly the same. Fireball can't get it to drop. Rogers gets it to Lipinski. Bronx sticking with the press, and Fireball is called for the foul.
But this is an exciting venue to play.
There's the other side of March as Lenasia Evans checks out for what is expected to be the final time in her Ryder career.
And that is always the toughest time for your seniors, because you never address losing before the game begins, and now all of a sudden it hits you. And she has added so much to the Ryder program. It's tough to see that.
Evans this year is a senior, 6th in the MAAC, 14 points a game, named to the All-MAAC 3rd team, scored in double figures 22 times, had 20 or more 5 times, a 30-point game as well. Tough go of it against one of the top defensive teams in the MAAC. Evans just 1 of 10 from the floor. She had to do battle with one of the best defenders in the league, and Juana Camilleon, to her credit, was able to shut down a great scorer in Lenasia Evans.
Yes, and you knew she was going to draw the toughest defender. And sometimes, that really tones your offensive game down, and Camilleon stuck with it the entire game. As you mentioned earlier, her energy is off the charts. What a high motor.
She's extremely fun to watch. We were joking before the game. I would love to meet whoever taught Juana Camilleon how to play the game of basketball. It is just a rock-solid foundation A player really with no obvious weakness. There are certain areas where she's not a superstar, but she can impact the game in so many ways.
Well, I think that warrants another trip for the Iona coaching staff to go sit down and talk with their coach.
And I feel like, it's just as a fact-finding mission, right? I think we need to go with them.
Absolutely.
We got to find out what the secret sauce is.
Absolutely. We can chronicle it and talk about it at halftime.
Evans emotional on the rider bench as her team will bow out on Tuesday in Atlantic City. Here's Molly Lynch on a take into the lane. Her shot blocked inside. Rogers the rejection. The shot clock is off. And Lucia Becerra Perez can dribble it out. One of the 4 natives of Spain on the Iona roster. She'll dribble out the final 5 seconds, and the Gales will move on to meet the Fairfield Stags tomorrow. The final score in Boardwalk Hall, 74-58. An electric performance on both ends of the court by Iona.
Yes, Iona came in with a game plan that I thought they executed almost to perfection. They shut down the Bronc offense, and on their offensive end, not known for their three-point shooting, they were really able to establish themselves both inside and out.
Here's the updated bracket. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., Fairfield and Iona. Joe Frager and the Stags are going to get a hot team that just executed their identity very well. Gales head coach Billy Chambers has made her way over to Phyllis Mangina to talk about what went right. Take it away, Phyllis.
Coach, terrific win tonight. Talk about your team defense. You were outstanding throughout that game.
That's what we're built on. We talk about it all the time. We want to sit down and defend. We want to make it hard for other teams to run their stuff. We want to take charges, and Juana Camilleon leads us in that. So I'm really proud of how we stepped it up and really shut them down.
And offensively, at 29 field goals with 20 assists, your team really shared the ball today.
Yeah, we got really unselfish. I think they got together and had a good talk after our Buffalo trip where we didn't really move the ball. We didn't really have the assists that we wanted on our made shots. And they're coming here to play for each other, so I'm really proud of them.
Now, fine, I know you don't want to talk about it yet. What about Fairfield? You have them next.
What about Fairfield? 975 plays we got to get ready for in less than 24 hours.
Well, congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Where's Juana? Here you go, Juana. Hi. Come on in. Juana, congratulations.
Camilleon in. Phyllis has the player of the game.
7 boards, 7 assists, but it seemed you were focused from the outset today.
Yeah, we came here to demonstrate who we are. We're the underdogs right now, and I just do what's best for my team, and whatever works best, I'm just gonna do it.
Can you just address how your team played defense today? I mean, outstanding team defense from the Iona Gales.
Yeah, we've been working on defense the whole year. This is what we do. We hold teams in 50 points or less when they average 70 or even more, and that's the only way of winning basketball. The offense will come if our defense is good, so that's what we showed today, and that's how we got the dub.
Congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Back to you guys.
That's all from here inside Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall, where the final score is Iona 74, Rider 58. We remind you that all games airing on the ESPN family of networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. For Diane Nolan and Phyllis Mangina and our entire ESPN Plus crew, my name is Jeff Brault saying so long from Atlantic City. This has been a presentation of ESPN.